Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. News for you. There's 9 articles in this episode, and all these URLs, of course, are in the description of the video for your convenience. Particular orders. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Hey, just bear with me. They are all pretty much from the same category, though. So let's get into this. The first one we have here is off BizPack Review, and it says, new report on potential smoking gun claims to leave no doubt on Trump surveillance, sends Twitter spinning. Smoking gun pertaining to the alleged surveillance of Donald Trump and his transition team by the Obama administration is creating a massive amount of buzz on social media. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes was handed information late Wednesday indicating that intelligence reports unmasked transition team in the months of November 2016 through January. Closed intelligence of surveillance targets, probably foreign nationals, with or talking about members of the Trump team. Protocol requires that the reports keep the names of U.S. citizens secret by substituting American A, B, C, or something similar. Not found in these instances, Fox News correspondent James Rosen confirmed and widened Nunes' findings. Rosen reported that Republican congressional investigators expect a potential smoking gun House Intelligence Committee this week that will establish the Obama administration spied on Trump's transition team and possibly the president-elect himself, a source told Fox News. Reported the intelligence corroborated information about surveillance of Trump team that was known to Nunes, sources said, even before President Trump accused his predecessor of having wiretapped him in a series of now infamous tweets posted on. The intelligence is said to leave no doubt the Obama administration in its closing days was using the cover of legitimate surveillance on foreign targets to spy on President-elect Trump. The key to that conclusion is the unmasking of selected U.S. persons whose names appeared in the intelligence, the sources said, adding that the paper trail leaves no other plausible purpose for the unmasking other than to damage the incoming Trump administration. Concerning to me, Nunes told Fox News' Sean Hannity, adding that after receiving them, he briefed House Speaker Paul Ryan, members of the media, and President Donald Trump. To me, it's clear that I would be concerned if I was the president, the California Republican added. Briefed. He said he felt somewhat vindicated. Who requested that unmasking and why? Because it should be pretty rare that American names are unmasked. That brought up an early Trump cabinet member. Former National Security Advisor General Flynn, masking take place, but also an intelligence leak, which would be a violation of the Espionage Act, which is a felony. Until we get the details, Nunes cautioned, but it appears the sticking point was that 2 weeks before Trump's inauguration, President Barack Obama gave the National Security Agency broader authority to share the worldwide signal it collects from 16 other agencies. Rosen report sent Twitter buzzing Thursday night, while smoking gun trended into the morning. Few journalists that I truly trust, James Rosen, FCN, is one of them. This interesting, says Angela Kay. Says investigators expect to announce smoking gun against in Trump spy case. Another one says smoking gun. Let's turn who have been trying to undermine everything this administration does from day one. It says there was also some naysayers, and here's a couple of those tweets. It says, when you believe Sean Hannity more than the FBI director and the NSA chief, then you got some serious credibility issues, smoking gun. If there is a smoking gun showing Obama spied on Trump, then that means there is a smoking gun that Trump colluded with Russia. Agree with, but okay. The next article that we have here, it's off the truepundit.com, and it's White House fingers as media leak. U.S. Senator eavesdropped on Trump's classified phone. And let's blow this up a little bit because they got it in this little teeny tiny print again. Apparently, they think that us old people are supposed to be able to read that. So get it up big enough to read, and sometimes it takes the hamster a minute to get it up. Go. There we go. That gone good. All right. It says this could be the beginning of the end for embattled Senator John McCain's life in politics. According to White House officials, McCain is believed to have somehow gained access to the content of President Donald Trump's private classified telephone calls with leaders. And he isn't keeping quiet about what he was talking about either. An analysis of McCain's recent public statements by White House officials, coupled with information from intelligence personnel working with the Trump administration, picture for McCain or any elected U.S. politician. Officials believe the senator has inside knowledge of a number of President Trump's telephone conversations, including at least one conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Alarming, officials believe McCain is secretly sharing this sensitive information with colleagues and his cabal of friendly mainstream media journalists in a dangerous clandestine campaign to damage Trump's presidency even before it has a chance to succeed. For media rats in the Beltway in recent weeks are confident they now have outed one of the major leaks plaguing the early days of the Trump presidency. It's a senior senator supposedly belonging to the same side of the political aisle as the president. Lambasting Trump to anyone and everyone who will listen since the newly minted president's inauguration. This includes a Russian comedian who pranked McCain posing as Ukraine prime minister. I'm not sure how to pronounce this feller's name. It's even during that troubling conversation where McCain shared sensitive U.S. intelligence with an imposter, White House aides say McCain unknowingly exposed himself as having inside knowledge of Trump's telephone conversations. He has been given transcripts or actually listened to the calls and is sharing what he's heard, Ryder said. There is no doubt he's one of the major leaks. Last week, True Pundit published a troubling account of how Russian comedian Duke McCain, the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, incredibly, the phone prankster posing prime minister on joining NATO. The recording of the phone call is absolutely incredible. It's time for Attorney General Jeff Sessions to determine the level of McCain's involvement and just how many laws he's broken. Always a spy. I mean, you know, he was in. This next one is off of the USA News, and it says, breaking, White House leak was just discovered, and look who it is. Report Senator John McCain has been fingered as the White House leak eavesdropping on President Trump's classified phone. True Pundit reported this could be the beginning of the end for the embattled Senator John McCain's life in politics. Officials, McCain is believed to have somehow gained access to the content of President Donald Trump's private classified phone calls, and he isn't keeping quiet about what he talked about either. This is pretty much the same thing. It's just off of a different source, so, you know, that backs it up. The next article that we have here is off of the conservative treehouse.com, and it says Freedom Watch notifies Congress of deep state intelligence whistleblower. Full PDF in this. Watch notifies Congress of deep state intelligence community whistleblower Dennis Montgomery with millions of documents showing CIA and FBI and intelligence committees were spying on and conducting surveillance on American citizens for political purposes, trying to use legal whistleblower process and not follow the same approach as Edward Snowden. And it does have the 11 pages of it in here, but here's an excerpt from it. Montgomery left the NSA and CIA with 47 hard drives and over 600 million information, much of which is classified, and sought to come forward to entities, including Congressional Intelligence Committee, to expose that the spy agencies were engaged for years in systematic illegal surveillance on prominent Americans. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, other justices, 156 judges, prominent businessmen such as Donald Trump, and even yours truly. Was former Obama Director of National Intelligence, DIA, James Clapper, who lied in congressional testimony. Director of CIA, the equally ethically challenged John Brennan. Montgomery witnessed up close and personal this Orwellian Big Brother intrusion on privacy, likely for potential coercion, blackmail, or other nefarious purposes. He came forward as a whistleblower to congressional intelligence committees and various other congressmen and senators, including Senator Charles Grassley, chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, who, like Comey, once had a reputation for integrity. He was blown off. No one wanted to even hear what he had to say. The fact is that Montgomery's allegations were either too hot to handle, or Congressional Intelligence and Judiciary Committee already knew that this unconstitutional surveillance was taking place. The article, party.org, and it says Brenda arrested for corruption. Drain the swamp. Democrat corruption. It's festered under the murky depths of the swamp. Now the first gallons of hypocrisy and collusion are being drained. Seth Williams, the Philadelphia Democrat district attorney, was charged on Tuesday for receiving $160,000 in Caribbean trips, cash as payment for favors from his government position via CBS News. Prosecutor for most of his career, and he's been under investigation for around 2 years due to an extortion and bribery indictment. Attorney Williams made around $175,000 annually, but he's claiming that a divorce led to some leaner times financially, as well as trying to pay for his daughter's private school education at the same time. This in no way excuses his actions. Williams has received for his favors include staying in suites of fancy hotels with his girlfriends, a Jaguar convertible, and a sofa that cost $3,400. In return for these nice gifts, Williams offered his assistance to a friend for a vastly reduced jail sentence, and that's just one example of the favors he's provided. He received $7,000 for helping a friend and a business owner meet with a police official at the airport to avoid the screening process that is airport protocol. The person could come back into the U.S. from foreign country with no issues. Williams was slapped with a fine by the Philadelphia Board of Ethics of $62,000 this January for violations he committed. The largest fines ever given, but how much Williams ignores ethics and gift receiving. Of Ethics gave Williams a time stamp to pay the fine, saying he had until 2022 to pay. This means he'll have to pay $10,000 a year starting next year in 2018. If they catch wind of other violations, this penalty can be amended. The investigation was started last summer when Williams changed his financial documents from the years 2010 through 2015. He also disclosed the extra $160,000 in gifts and income that was previously not reported on those documents. CBS News, the board found an additional 20 gifts from prohibited sources. These were individuals who had financial interest that the district attorney was able to substantially affect through official action. Defense attorneys who were handling cases prosecuted by the district attorney's office, as well as subordinate employees and contractors of the district attorney's office. Tacked on to his exponentially large fine, Williams must pay the city of Philadelphia $2,840, which is the value of 5 of the largest gifts he received. Obviously, with this scandal coming to light, he would not be looking to get reelected anyway. This is just one example of lying ways of Democrats. Williams is just one of many who have secret deals and mystery gifts for services rendered. Donald Trump is calling for the swamp to be drained. Who knows what else will be found in the depths of the murky, corrupt waters. Halves off Liberty Riders. James Comey is toast. Covered about our FBI director will officially end his career. How many times have we heard that? It says FBI Director James Comey is in some serious trouble, and for good reason. This week, Comey testified before Congress over Trump's wiretapping claims. Trump was under surveillance by Obama administration. Comey assured Congress that those allegations were false, and as it turns out, James Comey lied. Intel chief Devin Nunes has confirmed that on Trump transition team while Obama was in office. Furthermore, that data was leaked and widely disseminated throughout the intelligence community. James Comey knowingly made false statements, which is the very definition of perjury. Now, Comey is going to have to face the music. A conservative watchdog group headed by one of the best lawyers in the country, Larry Klayman, is demanding that Comey be hauled back in to testify before the committee on March the 28th. Has concluded that the information Devin Nunes released was intentionally withheld by the FBI Director Comey. Comey skate either. He's determined. I'm going to be at that hearing. I'm going to make sure people know that these questions have to be asked. They are going to have to look me in the face. I'll be sitting there in that hearing room because the stakes are too great, Klayman said. Klayman has been working with Dennis Montgomery, a former NSA and Central Intelligence Agency contractor who left the NSA and the CIA with 47 hard drives and over 6 million pages of information, much of which is classified. It looks like James Comey has a lot of explaining to do, and I seriously doubt that our president will show him any mercy. But that's what you get when you put politics before the American people. Is off the Conservative Tribune, and it says Trump tells media he appreciates findings of Intel Committee on the wiretapping. Twist in the wiretapping scandal. The House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes controversially bypassed his own committee on Wednesday to inform President Donald Trump that the Obama administration did on individuals associated with Trump, reported. I recently confirmed that on numerous occasions the intelligence community collected information on U.S. citizens involved in the Trump transition, Nunes said, according to WND. He added, briefed Trump on the findings because he thought the president needed to know reporters what he thought of the findings. Trump said he felt somewhat vindicated by them. Appreciate the fact that they found what they found, he said. Left scoffed at the allegations Trump made earlier in the month that he had been wiretapped before the election and claimed he was spreading false news. And now it looks like the news isn't so false. Nunes remarked 2 days after FBI Director James Comey shot down the idea that Trump had been surveilled by the Obama administration. Of course, Nunes' findings outraged liberals for all the wrong reasons. Nancy Pelosi called the chairman's remarks unprecedented, and the comments of Chairman Nunes are an act of diversion and desperation, she said, according to The Hill. Chairman Nunes is deeply compromised, and he cannot possibly lead an honest investigation. If Adam Schiff, Nunes' actions impeded the investigation, while others called for Nunes to be removed from his position. Democrats will surely not give serious credence to what Nunes revealed because It wrecks their narrative that Trump doesn't know what he's talking about, not to mention the fact that indicated that former President Barack Obama had collected information on American citizens, among others. The article headlines, and it says USA has smoking gun evidence that Obama spied on Trump. Campaign chairman Paul Manafort will testify before the House Intelligence Committee on Monday. Representative Devin Nunes, Republican California, revealed. Nunes, the committee chairman, also said he has asked FBI Director James Comey and National Security Agency Director Rogers to testify in a closed session on Tuesday. To be presented with information that testimony before the committee on Monday that they had no information to support President Trump's claims that President Obama spied on him. USA has agreed to turn over more reports by the Obama administration. The FBI is apparently stalling or stonewalling. Nunes said the FBI still has not agreed to his request to provide its intelligence reports on the Trump transition team. These are the latest developments in a rapidly expanding story that could confirm President Trump's accusation that the Obama administration spied. Popping up here, let me get rid of that. There we go. Spied on him and his inner circle. A source told Fox News the NSA will provide the House Intelligence Committee with potential smoking gun documentation proving the Obama administration spied on Trump's transition team and maybe even the president-elect. Multiple sources said the intelligence information will prove misused information gained from legitimate surveillance of foreign targets to spy on the president-elect. To include the unmasking or revealing the identity of those and sharing those identities in the intelligence community, which would be a criminal offense. Sources told Fox the paper trail leaves no other plausible purpose for the unmasking other than to damage the incoming Trump administration. Nunes said he expects the full extent of the spying to be disclosed on Friday, and that he also expects the NSA documentation will prove more intelligence than he's already seen. That will apparently include additional information that would appear to contradict testimony before the House Intelligence Committee on Monday by Comey and Rogers that they had no information to support President Trump's claim that President Obama spied on him. If any of that information will be made public on Friday, but it will likely take congressional investigators some time to examine the documents and determine their significance. CNN that after reading reports, he was confident the Obama administration had a pretty good idea of what President-elect Trump and what his transition team was up to or meeting with. Not rule out the possibility that Obama was personally involved in the surveillance. Community chair revealed on Wednesday, as WND reported, that he had learned from intelligence sources occasions. The intelligence community incidentally about U.S. citizens involved in the Trump transition, and that those people were widely disseminated in intelligence community reporting, even though they had little or no apparent foreign intelligence value. Confirmed that names of the Trump transition team members were unmasked, quite possibly in violation of the law, which the congressman said he found alarming. Documentation to be delivered to the House Intelligence Committee on Friday will reportedly verify the information Nunes revealed on Wednesday and add to it. Nunes said the committee will try to find out who saw the classified information, were not reported to Congress, and who requested and authorized the unmasking of those who were surveilled. The greatest significance to former Obama administration officials and Obama himself is that the committee will also try to learn whether the intelligence community was ordered to spy on President-elect Trump. He said he could not rule out that Obama ordered the spying. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer was grilled about an AP report published Wednesday that claimed Manafort secretly worked for a Russian billionaire with a plan to greatly benefit the Putin government. of President George W. Bush. Peppered with reports, questions as to whether that proves some kind of collusion between the Russian government and the Trump campaign, repeatedly noted that the business dealings examined in the report were from last decade. Only involved with the Trump campaign for 5 months ending in August. He also reported nothing in this morning's report referred any actions by the president, the White House, or any Trump administration official. On to turn the tables on the media narrative about Russia's meddling, observed that just recently John Podesta, campaign chair, sat on the board of a Russian-based energy company. This was something tied to Hillary Clinton, who was face of the failed Russian reset policy. Spicer also noted as Secretary of State, along with the Obama administration, approved a deal that gave Russia 1/5 of America's reserves. Former President Bill Clinton received over $500,000. Try that again. Over $500,000. A paid speech by a bank uranium deal. And Vladimir Putin personally called the former president and thanked him for giving the speech. The press secretary had far more extensive ties to Russia than did Manafort, and while Secretary of State Hillary was crafting a policy she said was designed to strengthen Russia. Warned members of the media trying to conflate Paul's role in activities with Monday's hearing by noon's committee meddling by Russia in the 2016 election campaign. Numerous individuals recounted the press secretary, including Obama Director of National Intelligence James Clapper and acting CIA Director Mike Morrell, and members of the intelligence community from both parties who have been briefed have said across the board that they have seen zero evidence of any collusion between the Trump campaign and Russian officials. That's not going to be changed by any former business dealings of a campaign staffer from a decade ago. I'm sure that poor Sean understand why these people can't understand plain English. Bless his heart. The next one I have, the final one for this episode, is off of Western Journalism. And I'm waiting for the hamster to catch up here. Come on, buddy. There we go. News site suspends 3 staffers over report implying Obama conspiracy. As fast as he can go. Staffers of Independent Journal Review have been suspended over a conspiracy theory that was first published by the conservative news site and then later retracted. Conspiracy suggested but nefarious between former President Barack Obama's visit to his home state of Hawaii only a few days before an Obama-appointed federal judge the implementation of President Donald Trump's executive order on immigration and travel. The initial version of the story pointed out all of the people connected between the Obama and Judge Derek Watson. A later version added, reading, "This story has been updated to remove unnecessary speculation about timing of the visit. We apologize for any undue that might have been drawn from the report." The story was later pulled. The website Business Insider broke the story of the suspensions and published a statement from IJR founder Alex Scatwell. And there is some related video in this if you want to pull it up to look at that for yourself. And I'm waiting for the hamster to catch up. It says, "We are committed to an team that includes voices, perspectives, and geographies that span the country, but equally committed to quality standards in our newsroom. As we've grown, we've sought to improve on that front, and last month we launched our 6-person editorial operations team, along with enforcement and review for all editorial content," Scatwell said in a statement. "We got it all wrong. and ultimately deserve the criticism if we want to be taken seriously. As a result of last week's failure, Kyle Becker has been suspended indefinitely, as well as his supervisor and chief content officer, Benny Johnson, and the content editor approving the post, Becca Lauer, the statement added. Knowing all the details to determine if further action is necessary, this ultimately falls on me to get it right, and we have to do better in the future, the statement said. Reported that Joe, who had been the congressional reporter for IJR, served his association with the site over the post. IJR comes at a time when the site's reporter, Aaron McPike, was the only reporter invited to travel with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson during his Asian visit. Business Insider reportedly there was friction with other media who hoped McPike would serve as a pool reporter. She did that she was only there for one purpose, profile, although later in Tillerson's trip, she did file a spot news report. Read that story that they're talking about, and I did not put it in my show because it was just so bizarre, and there was no vetting. So I'm glad that I just retained. That's all I have for you in this episode. If you like what I'm doing here, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media for everybody. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And that way you'll stay informed. I'll see you in the next episode.